you got Bitcoin Core, you got Bitcoin Cash. What happened with Bitcoin? What's going on? Just a quick definition of
Sure.
Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin, I got to explain how Bitcoin works just a little bit. So every 10 minutes, there are, let's just call them eras. So every 10 minutes, there is an era inside of which you create transactions. And every 10 minutes, the nodes on the network, the miners on the network, reconcile the transactions that happened in the previous 10, and they attach them to the reconciliation, often called a block in a blockchain, of the previous one. So there are these reconciliation periods where nodes, which are just computers on the network, are competing to be the best at reconciling the ledger for that 10-minute period. Bitcoin, when it was originally released, it had no limit to how much traffic the network could send across during each reconciliation period. Now, the problem is there's a bandwidth. There's a physical bandwidth limitation that exists just in reality. This is because of physics and electrons. But we don't really know what that is. I mean, you can estimate it, but you don't know it until you break the network. So there were two major camps of thought about how to treat Bitcoin. Should we let the market figure it out? Should we let nodes drop off when they can't figure out how to mine, a bigger and bigger block? Or do we pre-plan an arbitrary limitation on how much can go through, and so we just have a much more stable network that's predictable for block size? And those are two huge differences that have a gulf of ideology between them. On the one side, it's the notion that, look, we need as many computers as possible to be running the full ledger, and therefore we need to keep the block size very small. And on BTC, that is 1 megabyte. So it is 1 megabyte every 10 minutes or 6 megabytes per hour. 6 megabytes of data is essentially no data in today's world, but that's the arbitrary limit of BTC, Bitcoin Core. In order to achieve that, they turned off tons of ancillary technology that was built with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had this ability to transact from one wallet to another, but with that, it contained, like, you can send scripts, which is essentially a way to say, like, programs. You can program the money to do different things on its journey from one wallet to another. Well, the core developers turned off most of those things. So they're like, look, that's just arbitrary. Like, we don't need everything to be so fancy. We just need to be able to send from wallet A to wallet B in a way that is secure. That's all we care about. On the other side, he said, well, Satoshi Nakamoto did all kinds of incredible things with this technology. He theorized the ability to bootstrap email and token protocols and all these other things on top of the network, that you can essentially replace the internet stack with the Bitcoin stack and have a completely monetized internet at scale. The problem is ideology. So you have the small blockers, the BTC people, that said, well, we don't really need to solve the internet. The internet is a solved problem. What we need to do is solve the money. We need to solve the ability to audit the supply of money and have a sound and hard money system, and that's it. Well, the big blockers said, well, no, the internet is also broken. The internet has all kinds, and we see it today, social media and fake news and all of this other nonsense, the censorship and all of that. You don't own your own data. The data owns you. Big tech owns your ass, and they're out there selling it in ways that we don't even understand. And so none of this is to say that one side is necessarily right or wrong. I actually think both sides are right, but it's about different things. In my opinion, I am a big blocker. So in my opinion, all of the value that exists in BTC are things that are inherent to Bitcoin, but BSV is Bitcoin without any of those arbitrary limits. So if you want to push digital art onto the blockchain, if you want to have your digital identity connected to a digital social structure where you control the power of your data and all this stuff, that's an option that exists there.
So where the rubber meets the road is, bottom line, big blockers can lower transaction costs. Is that
correct? It's like big blockers want everything to be a super highway, and small blockers want everything to be a one-lane toll bridge, and that's it.